So, you're looking to buy a home in Metro Vancouver. You are facing a massive decision. Vancouver, Burnaby, or Richmond. Each city offers a totally different vibe, a different lifestyle, and maybe, most importantly, a completely different mortgage reality. So, let's dig into the numbers and figure out the path that actually leads to your new front door.
I mean, it's the question, right? It's what every single potential buyer in the region is asking themselves. The price tags, they can feel pretty overwhelming. But my goal here is to give you a clear map to help you navigate all these options and find a real, genuine opportunity.
And, wow, there's the number that kind of sets the stage for everything. As of this fall, that's the benchmark price in Metro Vancouver. Think of it as the typical price for a standard home. It's a huge figure, for sure, but don't let it scare you off. We need to zoom in because the real story, the one that matters to you, is in the details.
I want you to think of the market not as some giant brick wall, but more like a maze. Yeah, there are some high walls and some definite dead ends, but there are also clear paths to get you where you want to go. You just have to know where to look. So let's find that path together.
And here's why right now is such an interesting time to be looking. We've seen some recent rate cuts that have brought variable mortgages down to around 3.5%, with fixed rates hovering near 4.14. At the exact same time, there's more inventory, more homes for sale on the market. So what does that actually mean for you? Well, it means more choice, and it means more negotiating power. It's a real window of opportunity. All right, let's explore the first path in our maze, the city of Vancouver itself. Look, it's the premium choice, no doubt about it, and it has the price tag to match. But as we're about to see, it is not one size fits all, not even close. This is where Vancouver gets fascinating. I mean, just look at this incredible split. Over on the west side, you've got detached homes soaring past $3 million, requiring these massive down payments. But then, just shift your gaze over to the east side. The condo benchmark is under $700,000. Now that's a price point that can actually qualify for government help, making it a totally viable entry point. It's truly two different worlds in one city. Okay, let's break down the real numbers for a typical Vancouver condo. If you put just 5% down, you're looking at a monthly payment of around $38.50. But, and this is so important, you don't qualify at your mortgage rate. You have to qualify at that much higher stress test rate of over 6%. And that is the big hurdle for most buyers. Okay, so what if the heart of Vancouver isn't your main goal? Let's turn to the two big contenders in this value and lifestyle battle, Burnaby and Richmond. For a lot of buyers, this is where the decision gets really, really interesting. And this just shows you how close the race really is. Condos in Burnaby's super popular Metrotown area are often priced just under that $700,000 mark, while Richmond's benchmark is a little higher at around $720K. Financially, they are pretty much neck and neck. That means your choice is probably going to come down to lifestyle and community. Now, let's look at a step up, say a townhouse in Burnaby, which is perfect for a growing family. In this case, getting a 20% down payment is key because it helps you avoid that expensive mortgage default insurance that you have to pay with smaller down payments. Yeah, your monthly payment climbs to nearly $4,800, but that's the trade-off for getting a lot more space. Now let's contrast that with a first-time buyer in Richmond. With 10% down on a condo, your monthly payment comes in around $3,600. And hey, that's actually lower than the Vancouver example we saw earlier. This is a super accessible entry point, especially when you consider that recent price adjustments in the Richmond market have created some really great opportunities. So we've seen the prices, and you might be wondering, okay, how do I actually make this happen? This is where your financial toolkit comes into play. Let's look at the powerful programs that are designed specifically to give you an edge. First up, you have to understand your biggest opponent, the mortgage stress test. It's this mandatory buffer that's designed to protect both you and the lender. Basically, the bank has to make sure you could still afford your payments if rates went up by a lot. What this means in practice is that you qualify for a smaller mortgage than you'd think, based on the actual interest rate you'll be paying. But here's how you fight back. These federal programs are absolute game changers for your down payment. The Home Buyers Plan lets you borrow from your own retirement savings, tax-free. The new First Home Savings Account is even better. It's a completely tax-free way to save up. And on top of all that, a tax credit gives you a nice little cash boost on your tax return. Using these can make a huge, huge difference. And here in BC, we have the property transfer tax exemption. It's simple. If you're a first-time buyer and the home is under the price threshold, you can save up to $8,000 in closing costs. That is a ton of money when every single penny counts. And this is another huge development for first-time buyers.
Spreading your mortgage over a longer period, what we call amortization, in this case 30 years instead of the usual 25, it can lower your monthly payments by a lot. We're talking hundreds of dollars. This makes it so much easier to pass that stress test and manage your cash flow, especially in those first few crucial years of homeownership. Okay, we've covered the landscape, the prices, the mortgages, the tools you have at your disposal. Now, let's bring it all together and help you make that final critical decision. It all comes down to this: which of these profiles really fits you best? If location is your absolute #1 non-negotiable priority, you're probably looking at an East Van condo. If you want that perfect balance of city life, great transit, and real value, Burnaby is your sweet spot. And if you are a pure value hunter looking for the absolute best deal you can find right now, Richmond's current market is offering some incredible opportunities. At the end of the day, the numbers are just one part of the equation. Each of these cities offers a different community, a different lifestyle, a different future. The market has given you a map and really a rare window of opportunity. So the only question left is, where will you choose to start your next chapter?